Horror games is something that I never played when I was a kid because who wants to be genuinely terrified while playing a video game? I remember my first time playing Silent Hill and I literally shit my pants while playing it. Not only because it was 3 a.m., but it was also extremely dark in my room. And at that time, I was scared of the dark. But now that I'm a little bit older and a little bit wiser and no longer scared of the dark, I feel like I can easily solo some of these games and the characters in it all by myself. Today, we're going to be going over some horror games that I can definitely survive and others that I probably can't. Until Dawn. Until Dawn is a game where you take control of 8 young adults and survive on Blackwood Mountain until you're rescued at dawn. You pretty much follow the story between the group and make decisions based on what you want to do in the game. You as the 8 characters are stuck on a remote ski lodge, seemingly being hunted by a mysterious monster, which we all think is a Wendigo, because that's kind of what it looks like. Now, this is one of those experiences you don't want to be stuck on a mountain with me. If it's me to survive or if it's you to survive, I am choosing myself to survive every single time. Every decision that I make and every decision that I made while playing Until Dawn was to keep my character alive. You could be my best friend, you could be my wife, you could be this, that, and the fifth. Chris is surviving. I am 100% surviving Until Dawn. I am going to run this way, run that way, hide here, hide there, and make every decision possible to make sure you all get packed up before I do. Now, 9 times out of 10, I won't be making the right decision for you, but I'm definitely going to be making the right decision for me. And I know that sounds super selfish, but you have to think about it from an outside perspective. I am stuck in a remote ski lodge with 8 people, and we all have to survive until dawn. There's a mysterious killer creature out there for some reason coming with sound and all of this other stuff, trying to kill me and all my friends. You could take them. You're not touching me. There is no humanly possible way I am sacrificing myself for absolutely anybody in this game. I'm sorry. You do not want to be trapped with me anywhere, anytime, or anything. I will offer you up as fodder just to make sure I am good. And like I said, I know that sounds selfish, but you have to think about it. You're stuck at a remote ski lodge with 8 of your friends. Would you prefer them or you to go? 9 times out of 10, even if you're going to say out loud, oh, I would make sure they're good. No, you wouldn't. Deep down inside, you'd be like, all right, yeah. You go do that. You go do that. They start screaming, you run the other way. You just won't say it, but I will. I 100% know that segment made me sound crazy, but I damn well know all of you would do the same exact thing and say the same exact thing I just said if you were stuck in that situation. Five Nights at Freddy's is a game that you play as a nighttime security guard for a family-owned pizza restaurant known as Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Your main objective in this game is to last from midnight to 6 a.m. without, of course, being caught by the homicidal animatronics that wander around the pizzeria at night. Now, my first question is, why did you take that job? Why was that something that you wanted to do? You know that these animatronics roam the halls at night, and yet you took that job. That right there is the biggest mistake. The second mistake is knowing how much you're probably getting paid. You're probably getting paid no more than $5 an hour, yet you took a job where all of the other previous security guards have gone missing. Yet you decided that was a good job that you were gonna take. Yeah, see, me, that's not gonna work for me. Me personally, how I'm surviving Five Nights at Freddy's, it's very easy. Number 1, I'm not taking the job. Once you told me that there was animatronics roaming around the halls all by themselves and eating people, supposedly, yeah, I'm good. That's just not a job that I want to take. Number 2, if for some reason I was forced into taking that job, I needed that $5 an hour from midnight to 6 a.m. Okay, cool. How am I surviving? I'm A, deadbolting the doors. Yeah, the animatronics might be strong, but that may be able to keep them out a little bit longer. Number 2, I'm strapping up, if you know what I mean. Granted, they might not do too much to them, but maybe it'll scare them a little bit, to stop messing with me. And number 3, which might be the hardest part of surviving this whole thing, is I would try to find like an animatronic head or something like that and put that on and just sit in my chair. Probably fall asleep until 6 a.m. and get woken up by some of the day workers that end up working there during the day, which is the shift that you really want. Five Nights at Freddy's would be an easy solo for me. Granny. Granny is a game where you're locked inside of a grandma's house. The whole main objective of this game is to find all of the keys and get out of the house before Granny kills you. And the only places you can hide is in the closets or under the bed. You drop something on the floor, yeah, she's gonna hear you. The whole main objective is to be super quiet, find the keys, and get out. Now, granted, Granny in the games, yeah, she's pretty strong and powerful because somehow she's one-punching every single person with that giant baboon mallet she's got. But other than that, how are you getting pieced by a grandmother? 9 times out of 10, if I hit a grandma with a right hook, she is cooked. Obviously, I'm not doing that, but I'm saying if I was in that and all she had was that club, I'm putting my forearm up and I'm hitting her right in her face. That's pretty simple. 9 times out of 10, I am knocking grandma's teeth all the way into the back of her throat, and she's done for. I'm not gonna be quiet. I'm not gonna be this. Now, if you said grandma's strapped or she's got a knife, okay, I'll be quiet. I'll tiptoe around the whole house, try to find the keys, and make my way out of the front door, because that's the main objective of this whole entire game. You're not gonna catch me hiding in closets or anything like that, and if I did, if Granny was real powerful and I had to hide in the closets, I would make some noise, then I would jump in the closet, wait for her to stand in front of the closet door, hit her with the closet door, hit her with a right hook, and call it a day. I'm just gonna go downstairs, unlock the door, and walk right out. I might even make myself a sandwich, because grannies, they usually got some decent food in the house. I am going to piece Granny up. How is that supposed to be scary? Grandmothers don't scare me, except that one grandma from that horror movie who tells people that they're gonna die and then climbs on the ceiling. You know what I'm talking about. That grandmother is terrifying. But this granny is just a regular old lady with a mallet in her hand who seems to be keeping you trapped in her house for some weird reason. She's getting packed up. I'm sorry. No hate to all the grandmothers, but I'm good. Poppy Playtime. Poppy Playtime is a horror puzzle game where players investigate an abduction that happened at a toy factory. Your goal is to solve the mystery of what actually happened. Now, the first time I played Poppy Playtime, I was like, all right, yo, this game is really cool. You know, you're doing puzzles, you're doing this, you start hearing weird noises and all that other stuff. And then Huggy Wuggy comes out and he's got these crazy sharp teeth and he wants to kill you. This is by far one of those games that I would 100% not survive. I'm stuck in a toy factory all by myself. There's a ton of different monsters. You got like Mommy or something like that. And now with the newest game, you have all of these other characters who want to do the same thing to you. Nobody is trying to protect you. It's not like Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, where some of the characters are trying to protect you, like Glamrock Freddy. This game has nothing. You have no plot armor, you have no nothing. As soon as Huggy Wuggy sees you and he's turned on to that demon time, you're done for. Like I said, there's a ton of other characters like this pink mommy thing. There's a dog now and this, that, and the fifth. There's way too many characters for you to try and survive in a toy factory where they know it way better than you. You're just there to investigate. You got these cool little blop, blop, blops. I quite literally have no idea what that is, but you know what I mean, where you're doing the color match and everything like that. The game itself is cool. Me personally, though, as soon as you hear Huggy Wuggy start stomping and this and that and the fifth, you're done for. There's no weapons in this game. There's no way to protect yourself except to run. And you know me, I don't run. I am pretty much 100% getting packed up in Poppy Playtime. Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is an asymmetrical horror game where one person picks a killer and the other 4 are survivors, trying to escape the killer and avoid being killed. Death is, of course, not an escape. Now, DBD is one of those games that is very skill gap based and very hard. The main goal of this game is to run, throw down pallets, and things like that. Now, there is a slew of characters that can easily kill you. A huntress, she throws the axe, and if the huntress is good enough, she will hit you 9 times out of 10. The other main factor in this game is that you have to run. As I just previously stated, I do not run. How am I going to run around a pallet and outrun Jason Voorhees? Granted, he doesn't really run, but he can teleport in the game. As I said, the huntress, she throws an axe, and she's got like 4 of them on her body at all times before she's got to replenish it. DBD is a very skill-based game as well. I'm not very skilled at much things. If you were to transport me into a character inside of Dead by Daylight, nobody would pick me 1. And 2, if they did, they would be like, damn, why did I pick Chris? There's no way I'm surviving this. Stamina, all the way low. Intelligence, all the way low. The only thing I have is strength. And you don't really need strength in Dead by Daylight besides throwing down a pallet, which most people are already doing with the lowest amount of strength in the game. Me as a Dead by Daylight character would 100% not work. And that's just me being completely honest with myself. Outlast. Outlast is a first-person horror game where you play as an investigative journalist named Miles. And somehow the story you're doing has to do with a psych ward, which is taking place in Colorado, which has recently become overrun by homicidal patients. Now, let me get this right. You're an investigative journalist, right? You're doing this for free. I'm pretty sure investigative journalism doesn't really make you any money unless you're signed somewhere. And I'm telling you, no one is paying Miles to do this. Also, in one of the first cutscenes, you pull up and no one is there. You then walk your way inside and see a ton of bodies of armed guards. In what way, shape, or form does that make sense to you to continue your way through? You're also just holding your little camera while you're walking through. Bro, it's dark, there's bodies, I'm out. There's just nothing that can pay me enough in order to walk through there. On top of that, at any single point, up until, you know, you're in the basement and things like that, you see some crazy things. You see these mutant monsters, you see these really homicidal people inside of there just killing everyone, and they're trying to kill you, and for some reason you continue to make your way through to get as much information as possible. Like I just stated, there is no humanly possible way Chris is doing anything like that. As soon as I pulled up and no one was there, I would have turned my car around and went home. Investigative journalism, cool, do your thing, that's awesome. But as soon as you pulled up, you saw a ton of bodies and you said, you know what, this looks like a great idea. I think I could get a great story. Yeah, you're a goof. I'm surviving 100% because I'm not going. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is an asymmetrical horror game, sort of like DBD. Of course, based on the iconic movie Texas Chainsaw Massacre, released in 1974. The game features 8 victims attempting to escape the family, who happen to be cannibals, and if they're caught, they will probably be eaten or killed. Now, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is similar to DBD. It's an asymmetrical game where you're running away from the killers, trying to find batteries and parts to escape. But you have to think about how they got into the situation itself. The only reason they all got picked up by the cannibalistic family was because they were driving down the road in Texas, saw a hitchhiker, and tried to be the nice person. Me, I'm not doing that. I am completely sorry. I will call someone for you, but there is no humanly possible way I'm pulling over, letting somebody get in my car who I don't know, and then bringing them home. I've watched way too many horror movies and listened to way too many horror stories to ever pick up a hitchhiker. Now, the whole reason these people even got intertwined with the cannibalistic family was because they were trying to be nice. And you know what they say, nice people usually finish last. Especially when it comes to horror movies. Real life, obviously being the better person and doing stuff for people is great, but most of the time you're also not dealing with a cannibalistic family. Now, as I said, when it comes to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, you don't want to be anywhere near me, because if you make some noise, you're cooked. I'm gonna fodder you off, find the batteries, and escape. Jumping fences, running through here, running through there. And you know me, I don't run. Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th is an asymmetrical horror game similar to Dead by Daylight, based on, of course, the Friday the 13th franchise, and very similar to the newly released Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, when this game dropped, it was a ton of fun, because you can not only beat the shit out of Jason whenever you want. If you and your 3 teammates decide to team up on Jason, Buddy is getting packed up. Obviously, you're not going to kill him, but you're going to stun him enough to run away. Now, the other thing I never understood about games like this is you can escape very easily. All you got to do is pull up your little map, figure out where you got to go. Most of the time, you don't need batteries or car batteries or gasoline or anything. You can just run. In the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, you're kind of enclosed into a place. In the Friday the 13th game, you are based at Camp Crystal Lake, and as soon as you spawn in, you can pull up the map and see where you have to escape. I'm not worried about my teammates. I'm not worried about this. I'm not worried about that. I am just going to jog my way into the woods as far as I can, and if not, I'm jumping into water. My boy is scared of water. I'm jumping in, I'm swimming. I'm literally going to be swimming in the water, because I don't have to worry about Jason getting me. I mean, unless he like throws his machete or something, then I have to worry about it. But 9 times out of 10, when you're playing this game, you can easily pull up the map, see where you're gonna escape, where that massive escape route is, leave all of your teammates to try and find all the parts or whatever, and you just run the other way, and you will survive that game extremely easily. The Mortuary Assistant. The Mortuary Assistant is set in 1998 in a small town in Connecticut. You, as the player, control a newly hired assistant at a haunted mortuary. There is no humanly possible way I am doing any job having to do with bodies. The mortuary, and from what I understand, like a mortuary assistant, that mortuary person is the one that cuts open the bodies, debalms them, and all of this other crazy stuff. Who is taking that job? Who is doing that job willingly? Like, you know what, man? My day isn't that bad. You know, let me just go work on some bodies. Absolutely not. I get it. People have morbid curiosities. I completely understand that. But when you tell people you work on dead bodies all day, yeah, I'm gonna walk the opposite way from you because I am terrified of you. On top of that, you're taking a job at a haunted mortuary. So everybody that's dead in there is haunting the land. It's haunting inside. And from the hours that I've put into playing that game, there's multiple times where you're working on someone and all of a sudden they just sit up. That is not normal. That is not a normal thing to happen to a dead body. Yeah, some jolts, yeah, some this, yeah, some that. The easiest way to survive this game is to just not take an absolute sick job. Obviously, no offense to people who actually do this job, because it does take a ton of skill and it's definitely not something that's easy, but surviving this game would be 10 times easier because you just don't take the job. Genuinely and honestly, it is that easy. But hopefully you guys did go and enjoy today's video, and if you did, don't forget to smack a like on it. That'd be greatly appreciated. Comment down below what else you guys want to see on the channel. As I said, all of the recent support has been absolutely insane, so thank you guys so much. If you guys would like a part 3, let me know down in the comment section below. But with all of that being said, my name is Chris, and of course, I will catch you guys in the next one.